I think this is, as I discussed the other day, this is a period in which the role of corporations is becoming extremely important, both nationally and globally, as an instrument of social organization and political organization. And we are still dealing with a legal framework that emerged from the industrial economy, where corporations were created in order to facilitate mobilization of capital, and we created many legal principles that would allow that to happen. But the assumption was that the locus of political and social power would not be in the corporation, would be in Parliament, in the executive branch. We felt at that time that the main concerns were about traditional social organizations, the family, the church, religious organizations. But now I think we've reached a point where the corporations have become so large and so powerful that they are becoming an extraordinarily important player politically and socially, once again, as they were in this part of the world in the early part of colonization in the 18th century in India, for example, when the East India Company became a ruler and not simply a commercial entity. And corporations are also very much aggressively trying to regulate, to influence political decision making and social decision making, and they are through lobbying, for example. They are no longer passive citizens that are ruled by laws set through democratic processes. They are actively trying to shape laws and norms in a way that creates a congenial environment for their business. Now their business is being altered by the dominance of finance capital over manufacturing capital, and finance capital looking for profits and returns on investment. And therefore, when you combine these two together, there is a very significant policy distortion taking place in favor of finance capital and investment. And we find that the traditional countervailing forces, political and social, are less and less capable of reacting to this. Take the media, for example. We find that the corporate influence on the media is so strong that when we have to counter that corporate influence, we are unable to do so, because the media is either owned by or dependent for revenue on advertisements and corporate flows, that ultimately the media is concerned not to challenge big corporations. The legal profession is shifting over, and already has shifted over in many parts of the world, from representing individuals to representing institutions, either corporate or state institutions. And corporations are controlling the economics and revenue models of the legal profession. So it's very difficult to use that legal profession to challenge corporations. Political parties are being influenced because of campaign financing by corporations. They are dominating the parliamentary space. The executive branch now has a revolving door. We have now recently, for example, one of the leading corporate leaders of our country joined on a cabinet rank position, the government, the public sector. So we are encouraging more and more corporate leaders to come into government and control policy making. So where is the space to challenge, in an independent manner, the role of corporations? And I think this is becoming a very big issue. And conflict of interest is very poorly regulated. So you are able to be in important positions of influence and simultaneously have major stake in corporations or run companies or run large businesses without having to put them in blind trusts or recuse yourself from these activities. So on one hand. On the other hand, the corporations are getting more and more concentrated. So the number of retail investors in India has shrunk by almost half in the last 20 years. So shareholding is getting more concentrated. Corporations are being controlled by smaller and smaller number of people. So actually, all this combined, I think our ability to impose democratic accountability on corporations has become quite limited. And we need to think about legal ideas, legal mechanisms that can help to make the most powerful corporations accountable to the least powerful people, especially in countries such as ours, where there is enormous inequality of distribution of wealth and knowledge and so many other inequalities, that we must create an environment where a corporation will not be able to overwhelm poor people with their economic, political and knowledge, power and knowledge. This is really the concern.